Imagine someone took the worst 3 seconds of your life and they froze it, posted it online, let strangers build a theory about who you are. Not the full story, not the full person, just the worst fragments. That is basically the internet now. We are all detectives, but we all are also suspects. We are the people searching for clues, and we are the clues. The detective's brain has always been one of the most powerful characters in popular culture. Sherlock Holmes, film noir, private eyes, because they see what other people miss. They look at the tiny details, the cigarette ash, the muddy footprint, the broken watch, the strange pause in someone's story. The detective says something is not right here. And that feeling is addictive because it gives chaos a shape. It says the world is not random. There's a pattern, there's a clue, there's an answer. Before the internet, detective culture was mostly something we watched or read. We watched crime shows, read mystery novels, watched unsolved mysteries, watched America's Most Wanted, watched police procedurals. The detective was the character. The audience was the audience. The internet handed the audience a magnifying glass and then said, "Go ahead, look closer." Internet gave normal people tools that used to feel impossible. Search engines, forums, screenshots, archives, maps, public records, reverse image search, social media history, Reddit threads. To know something can be searched, you start believing everything is a hidden layer. A post is not just a post. It's a clue, it's a silence, it's a suspicion. A missed photo means something. A deleted caption means something. The internet trained us to look at normal life like a crime scene. Here is where it gets darker. The same tools we use to investigate other people are also being used to investigate us. But podcasts and Reddit, YouTube, TikTok turned up the volume, and the audience are the participants. People were not just hearing about mysteries anymore, they were joining them. They were building timelines, looking at maps, comparing statements, posting theories, naming suspects, finding old posts, studying photos, and arguing over tiny details. Sometimes online communities really do find important information. Sometimes they expose scams. Sometimes they miss details. They help bring attention to overlooked stories. So it's not all fake. And it's not all bad. But there's real power in people paying attention, as a collective. But the danger is that real life starts to feel like a puzzle. Like real people start to feel like characters. Once that happens, empathy is gone, man. A person is no longer a person. They become a theory. They become a content. They become a case. Before the internet, most people had the gift of being forgotten. I remember this time. You could be awkward. You could be immature. You could say something stupid. And most stuff just kind of faded into the background. Maybe there was an old photograph in a box. Maybe there was a yearbook. Maybe there was a rumor, but it didn't have a permanent search record. Now there is. This isn't new. It's been building for quite some time now. The internet does not just remember what happened. It remembers what you were like while it happened. It remembers your tone, your jokes, your haircut, your politics, your friendships, your post comments, what you spent your money on. And the cruel thing is that people change, but screenshots do not. The whole person is not shown. It freezes a fragment and says, "This is evidence." Think about the worst screenshot someone could take of you. Not the truth of the whole you, not the complete picture, just one ugly, awkward, angry, confused, immature, badly timed fragment. Now imagine strangers treating that fragment as the final answer. That is what I mean by everyone is a criminal. Everyone has something that could look bad if it's framed the wrong way. Jokes, bad photos, deleted posts, a follow, a like, a comment, a contradiction, a message in no context, a clip taken from the worst 3 seconds, and that's who you are. Online guilt does not always require a crime. Sometimes guilt only requires evidence-looking material, and that is what the internet is full of. And this is not always investigation. Sometimes it is storytelling. And sometimes the story gets written before the truth actually arrives. Are we looking for truth, or are we looking for a reason to accuse someone? Social media is fake and real at the same time. People are performing, but at the same time, they're revealing themselves. People are branding themselves, but they're also slipping. People are curating their lives, but little weird truths leak out. That makes the viewer suspicious. You watch and think, is this real? Is this staged? Is this sponsored? AI? Is this person lying? Is this a joke? Stop seeing a person for who they are. They are a case. You look for inconsistencies. You look for proof. You look for what is hidden. If you look at everything like a clue, eventually nothing can just be itself. A person cannot be awkward. They must be hiding something. A person cannot be wrong or exposed or change. They must be caught contradicting themselves. A person cannot just exist. They must be investigated. One of the clearest examples of this receipt culture is people saying, show the receipts. It means proof. Receipts can protect people. They can prove abuse. They can expose lying. They can hold powerful people accountable. So again, this is complicated. Receipts are not automatically bad. Sometimes receipts are necessary. The internet has expanded the idea of receipts into every part of life. Friendship drama has receipts. Dating has receipts. Everyone is building a little legal case against each other. And everyone is also afraid someone is building a case against them. So people start living defensively. They delete, they archive, they over-explain, they add disclaimers, they apologize before being accused. They manage their image. They curate their past. They talk like lawyers. This is why the internet feels exhausting. We lost the right to be forgotten by ordinary time. Now the past is not the past. It is searchable. We are a commercialized library, and searchable memory is not the same as human memory. Human memory fades. It mixes things. It forgives. It forgets. It misremembers. It lets the emotional truth change over time. The internet remembers cold, flat precision. A date, a post, a photo, a clip. Here's what you said. Here's who you were. But were you that person? Nobody is one screenshot. Nobody is one bad joke. Nobody is one bad haircut or phrase or clip. Online people get flattened into evidence. Evidence does not care if you grew. People often call this cancel culture, but I think that phrase is too simple. The real thing is bigger than cancellation. It is a whole way of seeing. It is a culture of investigation, a culture of suspicion, a culture of permanent records, a culture where everyone is both watching and being watched. So the detective instinct is not irrational. It comes from distrust. But when distrust becomes a default settings in ourselves, everybody becomes suspicious and everybody becomes a suspect. And just when it all felt impossible to know what was real, AI arrived and made the whole thing even stranger. Now, we do not only investigate what people did, we investigate whether anything happened at all. Is this image real? Is this voice real? Is this video real? Is this face real? Is this screenshot real? Is this evidence real? Could it in the future, could it potentially use this being real? detail. The internet already made everything suspicious, and AI poured gasoline on that suspicion. Now the detective brain never gets to rest. You see a video and wonder is this fake? You hear a voice and wonder if it's cloned, a photo and wonder if it's generated. You read a story and wonder if it was written by a human. The internet's become a place where everything needs verification, a little check mark next to everything, but also where verification is harder than ever. That creates a weird emotional state. You cannot fully believe anything, but you also cannot stop looking. So you become trapped between doubt and obsession. America has always loved trials and public confessions, exposures, scandals, reinvention stories, before and after stories, redemption arcs, mugshots, courtrooms, tabloids, reality TV, celebrity downfalls. America loves the criminal and the detective, the outlaw and the sheriff, the sinner and the preacher, the confession and the punishment, the comeback and the fall. The internet did not invent that. It just made it everyday life. Now every comment section can become a courtroom. Every audience can become a jury, and every creator can become a defendant. Every stranger can become an investigator. Every mistake can become public trial. So why did this happen? I don't think this is just because people are nosy, but is deeper than that. The detective mindset grows when trust collapses. When people don't trust institutions, they investigate. When people do not trust each other, they investigate each other. The internet detective is not just curious. The internet detective has a low hum of anxiousness. They are trying to find something solid in a world that feels fake. They are trying to say, I found the truth. I found a hidden thing. I found what they did not want us to see. But does it ever arrive? That feeling is powerful, but it can also become addictive because there's always another clue, another thread, a contradiction, and always another mystery, another suspect. The cost is that people become less human to each other. We start seeing each other as files and timelines, brands, cases, and suspects. We forgot that people are messy, contradict themselves. People change. People panic. People have private pain that never appears. The internet is terrible at showing the whole person. It shows fragments and then asks strangers to judge the entire life. The danger is that we confuse fragments for truth. We confuse investigation with wisdom. We confuse exposure with understanding. Maybe the internet turned everyone into a detective because nobody knows what to believe anymore. It turned everyone into a criminal because nobody's allowed to have a past. That is a strange trap. We want truth, but we live inside a performance. We want accountability, but we also want blood. We want people to be real, but we want to punish them for being unfinished. We want evidence, but sometimes evidence is just a broken piece of life's bigger picture. The internet is a crime scene where nobody knows what the crime is, because the truth is we are all detectives now. We are all suspects, witnesses, and evidence. Maybe the real question is not what can I find on someone? Maybe the real question is what kind of world are we building when nobody gets to disappear, change, grow, or be forgotten? Take care of each other. Person is not a screenshot, a receipt, the worst post, awkward clip, or the strangest thing you can find about them. But online, that is exactly what we keep becoming. Evidence. And maybe that is why everything feels so tense, because we're all scrolling through the same crime scene and all of us are trying to become the body on the floor at the same time.